Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with your other host,
Tristan Walter.
And what are we doing today, Tristan? We're doing another Star Wars Wednesday, by the way, but what are we doing on this Star Wars Wednesday?
We're doing Clone Wars, the 2003 animated series, which is amazing.
Yeah, right? No, but it's funny because it's technically your Clone Wars.
Technically. Well, I mean,
it's not.
Shut up.
I know, I love it because he's been pestering me about Clone Wars for the longest time, and I gave it to you, Tristan.
Yes, you did. I wanted to do this one too anyway, so you know what?
Go fuck yourself.
That's my line.
But, oh, no, I thought that's my point. You're just telling me go fuck yourself, Matt. But anyway, so anyways, let's talk about this, right? This series was a little bit confusing to me. I know that might sound stupid, I might sound like the asshole here, but Matt. No, I don't know, I like the dialogue a lot. Usually I'm a guy that might sit there and go, hey, sometimes there's a little bit too much talky. We need some more fighty, right? Sometimes, especially in shonen anime, right?
Right.
When we do when we do stuff like One Piece, I'm like, hey guys, a special, because we haven't done any episodes. We've done specials or OVAs, and we've TV specials.
You miss the politics, don't you?
It's funny. It's not even politics, man. It's just, I think it might be. I don't know what it is, man. It's just, I don't know why. It's just you know what it is, too? Here's the thing, right? When the characters can emote more or when the fights actually help their character development, I'm okay with it. And look, here's the thing, too, right? I actually went down a really strange rabbit hole about reading stuff in the expanded universe because all I wanted to do was Google if lightsabers fizzle. And that's all I was trying to do. I was like, let me Google if lightsabers actually fizzle in the rain.
Ooh,
and all of a sudden I'm reading about the expanded universe and did Darth Vader actually calling the execution of his parents-in-law, or like Uncle Owen.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Shit like that. And I'm just learning all this stuff about fucking about expanded universe. And it's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious because
down the rabbit hole.
Not gonna lie, I want to read some more expanded universe stuff after what I've read.
Damn right you do.
But damn right I do. It's not canon anymore, so fuck everything. I learned how Han and Chewie met. It was great. Oh, I'm mad too. I learned how Han and Chewie met. It was great. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't know these characters other than seeing them in the first movie. And at this point, all there were, first movie, in Attack of the Clones, right? So seeing Episode 2 and then seeing this, I mean, I don't know. For me, it felt like, certain characters, they didn't really have development. Even in seeing Episode 3, it wasn't like, oh, wow, this fight is cool it's cool fights. I love the underwater fight. But I didn't look at them and go man, this is such, great development for, I can't remember his name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm the dick because I'm sure a lot of people do. And a lot of people are just like, no, you don't understand, and can give me expanded universe lore based on when he was a child.
Kit Fisto was my favorite Jedi at the time.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say, man.
To be fair, I didn't know much about him either, but I was like, I love him.
Oh, no, he's badass. So I'm saying, when he was fighting underwater, I was like, this is, even though it's the first fight, this is currently my favorite. But I was really happy, right? But then what ended up happening, or one of the first fights, but then what ended up happening was you just, I don't know, when I saw fights with Anakin, being able to see that primal rage that we know comes up later. Yeah, I was really happy about that, both in Volume 2 and in Volume 1. And by the way, we're going by Volume 2 and 1, something that you and I usually don't do, we don't like to do, but sadly we saw DVD versions that were like a play-all kind of situation. So we can't really sit there, especially because they're only 3-minute episodes, and they weren't split in any way whatsoever. I think that's another reason, too, by the way. I think they kind of dropped the ball by not splitting them up.
Kind of the only thing that was the actual split was that You know how in the movies they usually do that line that kind of comes across the screen and the new scene comes out?
Oh.
It's basically, they do that between each chapter. It's very subtle, yes. So it's not like, oh, the episode's over, here's the next one. It's not like you get an opening between, each episode kind of thing. But again, the first volume, they're only 3 minutes. So
yes, and I would have liked the very, very, very small credits, very small, because it felt like it was just one long, you know what I mean? Like it was just very hard to differentiate. Like, okay, you're because like there was many ups and lows, and it's hard to tell. Like, wait, so then which one is transitioning into which one, like episode wise?
It's funny.
So I'm happy that you brought that to my attention, but it hurt.
Because they kind of talk about that where it kind of almost turns into its own just animated movie kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Genndy and a lot of other people that worked on it. By the way, Genndy Tartakovsky, if you don't know, is the guy who directed this and helped work on it. Also doing Samurai Jack at the time. And if you notice,
that makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah. Well, the art style screams Tartakovsky. So
no, that's why when you said his name, which I cannot pronounce, and I don't know his name by heart, but when you said his name, I'm like, that sounds familiar. And I know you and I were talking about Samurai Jack the other day, and I'm like, he's gonna bring up Samurai fucking Jack, isn't he? I don't know why. It's out of Tristan's mouth. He's out of Tristan's mouth. How you doing, Tristan? Samurai Jack. Oh, good for you.
It's supposed to be coming back this year. For people who don't know, I'm sure you all know, but
do you think I'm lying, everybody? Look at him. Look at him.
Like you can Google it right now. It's a thing happening.
Finds the first way to bring up Samurai Jack.
You know what? Now, if we had that crossover, I would buy the ever living hell out of it.
In a galaxy far, far away. Aku. No. But anyway, so let's talk more about this. Now, like when I see Anakin, I'm like, okay, these are, I love seeing the character. What I want to say though, something about character, something about emoting. It was very hard for me to identify with these body models, which sounds so stupid because it's like, man, it's a cartoon. But there's something about the way the cartoon was made that it feels like everyone is a caricature of their actor.
Yes, and they tried to do that a little bit. They talk about how they tried to, and other people who animate do this as well. They try to capture some of the facial features of the voice actor who plays them, but they kind of amplify it to like an extreme.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Because it felt like, when I say caricature, I truly mean like something that, when you walk, when you're in New York, right? I'm sure other cities have it too, but you and I are from New York, and you walk New York, and some guy says, "Hey, want me to draw your picture, you and your girlfriend, or you and your boyfriend, or whoever, right? You're dating,
right?
Significant other." And then they sit you down, and they make you like a skinny body and a really big head, like a caricature. You know what I mean? Like you said, amplifying the features to the point where it seems as if it's a parody. That's what I mean by caricature. Like looking at Anakin, right? Other than at certain points, it was very hard to be like, yes, you're emoting right now. Like even looking at Obi-Wan, most of the time he had a shit-eating grin and he didn't mean to. But his body model had a shit-eating grin most of the time.
Okay.
Like if you look at certain scenes, something about the way he smirks when he's not actually meant to be smirking, like it's kind of like, oh no, he's in danger. He really is in danger. But he has this smirk just like, hey, I'm a spy, motherfucker. So it's a weird, I'm not the biggest fan of it, and even though I haven't seen much of Clone Wars 08, from what you showed me from 08, I prefer that style better.
Yeah.
Like I think
I understand
Star Wars, it's a bit too cartoony. Which I don't usually say that often because, we watch anime, we watch, a lot of different kind of cartoons. So it's not like I'm sitting here, it's the first time I've ever watched a cartoon or something. But, since the 90s when I was a kid. But I don't know, something about this specific series, I don't feel like it meshes well with the Star Wars universe. It's a bit too cartoony. Maybe if this was done for 4, 5, and 6, maybe. And I only say that because with 1, 2, and 3, they're very much like, yo, there's some fucking war and politics. Fucking political war, man. And then they have this kind of art style. Like it felt jarring, a little weird, off-putting.
Okay.
But if this was for 4, 5, and 6, it would have been like, yeah, happy adventures. You know?
Because I pretty much felt the exact opposite. Like they even have an interview with Genndy talking about how he wanted to give everything kind of a Star Wars feel, and like the way they do screenshots and the way they pan to the next scene, stuff like that. You know, he wanted the sense of, you don't see it as a cartoon, you immediately think Star Wars, and then you just get sucked into it, and it's like it's immediately part of that universe.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that those parts of it weren't Star Wars. I'm just saying that the body models and when I first see it, like either in promotional art or in motion, it looks like a cartoon. Also, I should also put mention, this was made in 2003. So like their movements are very much going to be either slow or methodical. Like the lightsaber battles, in my opinion, many of them were just like, swing them! Just swing them! Hopefully we're going to hit something. Right? I'm referring to, and by the way, I'm referring to, I can't believe I forgot the character's name already, but you mentioned him. We were talking about him being in the water. Your favorite.
Kit Fisto.
Yeah, a lot of his swinging, not all of it, but a lot of his swinging was just like, I swing. Where, let's say in a movie, it's like, okay, we got to work on this, like live action, I'm trying to. We have to work on this precision, or we have to work on, Now, I'm not saying that every lightsaber battle wasn't just pew, pew, swish, swish. I was
going to say, he's also
battle.
underwater at that point, too, so there is that resistance.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Well, then let's jump to Grievous, where not Grievous wasn't bad, but it was the other three that were on him that it felt as if it was a bit like, it just didn't feel like it was precise. But again, 2003, I shouldn't really be sitting here like, hey man, it's not in ultraviolet, so I'm just going to shit on it.
I mean, there are points in the animation where things are scaled back a little bit, especially with panned out shots and like stuff like you said that's going like extremely fast. It's kind of like the same few motions are repeated for a frame or so just to hold the scene until you get to the next kind of, movement that needs to be taken. So I guess I can understand that.
But in no way, I'm not trying to share on this and say it's not Star Wars. Like, this is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so when you said, like, I'm not saying I didn't get sucked into it, especially but I got more sucked into it, I think, when people were talking, not so much with the action. Space battle's cool, but, like, the action, I don't know why, I just wasn't as drawn in unless it was someone who has a story to progress, in my opinion, like Vader, quote-unquote Anakin. Whichever one you want to use.
It's funny.
I did like Yoda.
A lot of the action scenes, I noticed rewatching it, at least in the first one, don't have a lot of dialogue, and the fighting kind of speaks for itself. And, I mean, I really love that. Like, it was just the action and the music that really drew attention to the scene itself. So, I mean, maybe that's just not your thing, per se?
It's interesting. I thought it was. Right, I mean, we watched DBZ a lot.
Yeah.
Right. I really thought it was.
To be fair, there's a lot of talking in DBZ.
There is, actually. But, like, there's usually, I don't know. I don't know why. It just, for some reason.
There's usually a momentary pause.
I think it did stand for itself. Yes. And I think it stood for itself on, also, again, I want to mention, these fights, maybe let's say a fight lasts for, 6 minutes. That could have been 2 episodes. Right? Like, just looking at how the split was, depending on, because some of them were 3, some of them were 5. I know, because, they change it up per season. But, I feel like they, if they were split up, I probably would have appreciated it better.
Yeah.
But because it's all lumped into 1 hour.
Right. Because I watched this when it was coming out, and it was basically a week long.
Yes,
they would show episodes.
I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, they would show episodes for the week, and you would only get that 3 minutes. So, you were, at least for me as a kid, I was like, oh, this looks awesome. I have to, I got to sit down and watch this. And it's like that 3 minutes always left me with, it's like, oh God, why is it only 3 minutes? No, give me more. I
can respect that. I think I would have felt the same way had I watched it in that format. But having it all be in front of you for a full hour, you know what it is too? It's like, let's look at something like Doctor Who, right? When Doctor Who, not just Doctor Who does this, a lot of other shows do this as well. Like, it's kind of like the new format for television where you'll have a mid-season split instead of having a full year at the end, right? Instead of like airing 12 episodes and then taking a year-long break, you'll air 6, take half a year, and then do another 6. That's, it's been a thing for Doctor Who for a few years now, and a lot of other shows do it, Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, right? And many more that I can't think of. But the point is that when you're watching those live, right, having some crazy reveal mid-season is intense, and you're like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like, I don't want to spoil anything for Doctor Who, but something crazy would happen, and then you'd be like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next 6 months to watch this. You're watching it on something, let's say, like Netflix or just on DVD, right, any kind of service or any kind of marathon. It's going to be like, oh my God, no, I'm good, right?
Right. It does take away from that cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. But I have to say, though, not just that, though. Like, imagine if, and I know this sounds really bad, but imagine if, like, Doctor Who was edited so that you have an entire season in one sitting. I know it'd be very fucking long. But the point is, even without, like, episode cuts or breaks, even if they were made to transition into each other perfectly, right, it would feel, it would feel different. I mean, I was talking about that with Anthony Sinandris when he and I did our TV Tuesdays podcast. We were talking about Daredevil Season 1, right? And I know you've seen Daredevil, and even though each one was definitely meant to flow into each other because they're, it's a Netflix exclusive series, each one was meant to flow into each other. Still, it was a full, 12, 13 hours of show. Right. So even though it's on a longer scale, right, than something like this is, it's still similar. Where if this, if it was cut up, it might seem better. And with Daredevil, yes, it was quote unquote cut up, but it was still like each one led right into the next one. So again, marathoning it kind of feels like okay.
I feel with that, it's more of up to your choice whether you want to sit there and marathon it or not, which a lot of people these days like to do. There still is an opening and an ending to each episode, and there is like a closing to each episode before another one starts. And when it was broadcast on TV, you had that. You had to wait till the next day to see the next clip. And another point about the episodes, especially in the first volume, it was another interview that they talked about, this is all special features and shit, but talking about that these were originally supposed to be just little commercials, kind of, to like keep people kind of like interested in the Clone Wars before, because it was from 2002, which Attack of the Clones came out, till 2005. So, okay, granted, for a lot of other Star Wars fans, maybe, I guess it was a lot longer for others, especially with the original trilogy. But, a 3-year wait for the kids who are watching this movie is kind of a long time.
Yeah,
so
I disagree. But in
this was basically,
I think,
this was the thing that would like tide you over until the new movie came out, and they tried to make it as, promoting the movies, but also giving their own spin on it and giving you just a little bit here and there till, to tide you over, basically. But
what I think was nice,
the first volume did so well that's when they started to do, 10, 15-minute episodes. Granted, there were only 5 episodes for the second volume, but they were much longer at that point. The series had kind of started to grow into its own kind of thing.
Yes. But even then, compared to Volume 1, it's still hard for me to decipher, like, which one translates into which, because, they were longer, but it still was about an hour anyway, which is funny. So they still were around the same time, regardless of how many were in each volume, which is kind of funny.
Right.
Because there are 3 seasons. But I wanted to say that what I like is that, to me anyway, it feels like Lucas was a part of this.
Yes, he was.
Now, despite our feelings on Lucas, or at least on,
he was even actually happy about the slight anime feel to it. Like, it was another interview, but he even says that. He's like,
he thought this had an anime feel?
Very
really?
slight. Very, very slight.
Very slight. To the point where it's almost non-existent, if that.
Okay.
No, sorry. It's just like, even anime at the time, it was a lot more flat.
All right.
Like,
I would
say this.
I would say the action maybe would have represented it more.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah, no.
When
Actually, I'm sorry. That makes a lot of sense. Yes. No. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. You're completely right. No, because even in 2002, American shows were very much like sitcoms, American animation.
Because that's how Samurai Jack felt to me. You know, when I was a kid at that point, I was like, it was a lot more action orientated, yet it was still you know, a cartoon kind of thing.
Yeah, I apologize completely if I sound like a dick. You know, you're completely 100% right. I was just thrown off. I thought like you and Lucas were just like, yeah, no, this style just looks so much like anime, and I'm like,
Yeah, no.
But no. Yeah. No, the fighting though, yes, completely. If that's where he's coming from, and that's, you know, of course what you're saying, I agree with that 100%, because, you know, like, you had some action shows popping up around the time, but like in America, but like most of the stuff that I can think about that I'm like, oh, action show, it's like, wait, no, that's from the 80s. Wait, no, that's from the 80s. Wait, no, that's from the 80s. Right? So in the 90s, it was very much, at least in my opinion, like animated sitcoms.
Yeah.
Right? At least the ones that you and I watched a lot on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, you know, like animated sitcoms, and then you know, or if you're watching Disney, just whatever you watched, you know, as a movie was just like, let's make that into a TV show now.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like, you know, Disney's Hercules, you know, Aladdin. But anyway, so yeah, I understand why. Well, there were some, you know, like shows like Powerpuff Girls out and Codename Kids Next Door.
Right.
I can understand why, but you still had your Johnny Bravos, you know, your So I understand why, like Lucas would say that, and yeah, you know what? I think I am taking it for granted a little bit, because while I did say, oh, this came out in 2002, like, you know, for some of its faults, we have to also mention it came out in 2002 for some of its positives, right? So I think I was looking at it from a negative point of view, because I mentioned, like, you know, oh yeah, you know. This isn't as fluid because 2002. What I should be mentioning is, as well, I should mention the first, but I should mention as well, it came out in 2002, and it was so action-packed.
Yeah.
Right? Which is good. You know, it's funny, I haven't seen much of the 2008 Clone Wars, yet I'm still somehow taking it for granted. Like, well, we have that one. It's like, Matt, you've seen like fucking 1 or 2 episodes. Yeah, I know, but... One of them with you, because you brought the DVDs over. You were like, yo, man, we got to watch this. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It was great.
And it's funny. They actually talk about how a lot of the Volume 1 episodes were a lot more action-orientated. And it was only, you know, like they said, 3 to 5 minutes. So they had to make something that would catch your attention immediately. It couldn't be, like, dialogue-heavy, because then it's, you know, not everybody, but a lot of, you know, they might lose a lot of the audience, and they probably wouldn't have done as well that way. But when they were actually getting more viewers, and, you know, LucasArts are basically like, oh, well, this is actually doing very well, you know. They actually made the smart decision of, let's give you a little more time for those episodes. And then they could actually give it their own, still small, but still like an overarching story and a few little side plots here and there. So they could branch out and do a little bit more than just, you know, action for 3 minutes on the screen kind of thing.
I should mention, by the way, one fight that I didn't mention how much of a fan I am of, right, that's on me, Obi-Wan versus what looks like Boba clone. Fetty clone?
Yes. They actually... Yes. You don't actually hear his name throughout the series. I think you found that out through other means, like when the like online and stuff like that. Because, oh god, Cartoon Network had a field day with like games on their website to go along with this. And I'm telling you right now, I played all of them.
Are you trying to tell me that
Yeah.
merchandise was a large part of the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
How fucking dare you?
Okay.
I'm gonna
All right. I deserve that one.
You know what? Whatever. Let's just drink to that in my Star Wars mug. Let's just.
There you go.
Yeah.
His name is actually Dirge, and he's a bounty hunter that the banking clan had hired to save their sorry asses.
So he's not a Boba clone, because when his arm came back together, whatever, I was like, you a clone, son. And I was also confused because
we got plenty of clones. They can't do that.
But he's Boba clone, so obviously that means he's better than those other shitty clones.
Oh, Boba's back from the dead. Oh God, it's
Boba
a
clone
special entirely.
What's funny is that's about, what's that? It's about 9 novels? Anyway, my question is, so you said Dirge, right?
Yes.
How many novels does he have in the expanded universe? Don't lie to me. Tell me how many novels he has.
Honestly, I have no idea, and I doubt any. I could be wrong, but...
Just literally like one guy, he has none, but in my fan fiction he has everything.
Oh, yeah. That I could see.
Oh, of course. By the way, I want to mention something we have yet to talk about, which is really shitty on our part. We really should have just fucking started with this. They had some really good, and I don't want to say really bad, because I think the ones that were quote unquote bad, they just didn't even try. They were just like, get somebody. They had some really good sound-alikes.
Yes. I'm
like the one for Hayden Christensen and the one for Obi-Wan. At certain points, I was like, "Damn, you good."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still confused. I looked at the cast list, but I couldn't find who did Yoda, because I'm thrown off. I'm like, did they get a sound-alike because anyone can be Yoda, or did they? Wow.
Yeah.
It just kind of hit me. I'm pretty sure that the author of Attack on Titan saw this and looked at Dirge and was like, inspiration. Okay, I'll definitely say that Dirge and his what the fuckery is very much anime inspired.
Oh yeah.
I'll give a little bit of Akira, to a little bit of that.
Yeah. It's funny when Obi-Wan, dices him. It's weird. I was like, okay, I get it. It's only a few minute show, so he's not gonna, stop around and like look at him the whole time and be like, "Are you dead?" But I was like, I feel like Obi-Wan, being the cautious character that he is, would be like, something doesn't feel right, and turn around and be like, "You're reforming. Shit."
There's a war going on, man.
I mean, fair enough. And he was called for backup, like, Obi-Wan, we need your help. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. And he just sped off. But I'm like,
also,
he probably would have checked.
You know what feels really weird to me? And I assume I just sound like a noob, because in some ways I am, right? I've only seen the movies a lot, but I've only seen the movies. It feels very weird to me that they are using clones that are in suits that seem very much like the Empire's.
Oh, here we go.
Like,
sorry, I got the voice of Yoda.
I'm sorry.
Kane.
I thought you were. Oh, that is the voice of Yoda in the movies and everywhere else.
Oh, well, there you go.
Right? Is he not? Can you keep clicking?
Well,
while you're
I'll
doing
keep
that, by the way, while you're doing that, they got the voice of C-3PO back. Like,
yes, Anthony
officially.
Daniels.
Yes. They were able to get him, which is funny, because it's like, you're always able to get Anthony Daniels. Like, I don't think you understand, Tristan. Like, no, that's legit. Like, literally, when they had Star Wars radio specials back in the day, the first one, they got, Mark Hamill, right, and they got, they were able to get, like, Harrison Ford, right? They got them for the first one. For like the first, like, and it was a legit like radio special, like old timey radio, like like the serials, right?
Yeah.
They did one of those. The second one, they got all sound-alikes, or just not Mark Hamill, not Harrison Ford, but they fucking got Anthony Daniels.
Right.
Anthony Daniels is he is a gem. Like, he just wants to be sure that he is the one playing his role.
Yeah.
And that makes me very happy. I mean, he was in fucking Droids, for fuck's sakes. He didn't have to fucking be in Droids. Nobody had to be in Droids.
Yeah.
Like, but he was in Droids. What?
So no, like I believe Tom Kane is the voice of. I don't think for the movies, but for anything else that's Yoda, he's done Yoda.
Oh,
he's also in
fair
the
enough.
Star Wars Clone Wars or Star Wars The Clone Wars, the 2008 series. He's also Yoda.
Yeah, I know.
So.
I'm just like sitting. I'm like, you could just say 2003, 2008. It's okay.
I know it. I realized after I said it, I'm like, probably should just use the year as the designation.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that the guy that plays Yoda in this series is in this series? No fucking way.
And it looks like the guys who also do Obi-Wan is also in the 2008. I think a lot of the people that actually helped out voice this were in the next.
By the way, the guy that played Anakin / Hayden Christensen, he was in Episode 3's video game as well. I looked him up before we began the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
did
a great job. Like, I thought all these voice actors did a really great job with what they did.
Well, I don't think any of them did a bad job. I just think that at some points, like with Padme, they were just like, can we just fucking get somebody?
Okay.
Like, literally,
funny.
I personally feel like, what?
I'm just laughing that you bring up Padme because I recognized her voice actor, too. I don't remember by name, but by another role that she played.
Yeah, she's very famous.
I'm pretty sure she was Raven in Teen Titans.
Yes.
I am not mistaken.
No. She is. I'm going to look her up right now. I saw her again. It's funny. The first time I heard her voice in a certain role, I was like, let me look up her name because I've heard her in everything, right? Like, she's basically my childhood. And then I actually looked her up, and I was just like, oh, wow. Like, not only is she an amazing voice actress, right, because she is.
Yeah.
She's also very, very beautiful. But that's a completely separate issue. But no, because like it was one of those things where you're just like, like, oh, like I have because here's the thing, right? So I do like, random voiceover work. I mean, you've seen, you've heard my stupid voices that I've done on the show in the past. You've seen us do our Let's Plays, right? I'm an idiot. So like, as someone who does, voiceover stuff, like I have crushes on people's voices, right? Sometimes, right? So, like, literally, I was just like, oh, wow, like, beautiful voice. It reminds me of, like, like some of the stuff that she's done. I'm like, let me actually see the fit. Oh. Well, that's that. But yeah, I just want to get her name because I don't want to.
No,
Yes, her name is Grey DeLisle. And I say Lyle because it's Lisle. And she was Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents. She was Sam from Danny Phantom. She was Mandy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. She was Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She was in Shaolin Showdown. She was Daphne in a bunch of Scooby-Doo cartoons since 2001. And in this series, she was. Come on, I'll find you. Boo.
I see. No, wait. You mean Grey Griffin?
No.
No.
No. Oh wait,
she
yes.
Was the
also
voice...
known as Grey Griffin. Yes.
Yes, because she was the voice of Ventress.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who are you thinking of? I'm an ass.
I was saying Padme.
I'm an ass.
I couldn't find her, and I realized the voice who does Raven is Tara Strong. I'm like, oh, God damn it, duh. So, but it's funny, I don't see her listed.
Doesn't mean, to be fair, Tara Strong is contractually obligated to be in every single animated series ever made.
No, I know, and she's
past
fucking amazing.
Past the date that she started working.
I'm just surprised I didn't see her listed, like, in the Clone Wars thing. Like, I don't see Tara Strong, but I'm pretty damn sure that was her who did Amidala.
No, It probably is. Again, remember, Tara Strong is contractually obligated to be in every American animated series. Not every anime. That's why you won't hear her in every anime, but she's in so many American animated series, it feels like you hear her in every anime.
Right.
But no, it's true, though. If you look at the contract that she signs with any company she ever works with, she's contractually obligated to be on every single one. It's crazy, but, that's just the entertainment business for you. Also, she's amazing. I love her work.
That's it.
But anyway, so I don't hate this series, right? I know it sounds like I'm trying to shit on this series. I'm not. It's, it's just
my job to make him see the light, everyone.
Assuming
that everyone's on my side and thinks this is amazing.
No, it's what's it called? It's the Yoda thing with the captain. That's basically what you're doing to me right now.
Like
As a Jedi,
Genji's interpretation of Clone Wars, you must. If you do not kill you, I will.
Kill you, I will. Oh,
not
shit.
The Jedi way, you say.
No, how bad would that be? Yoda's just like, swear to God, kill you, I will. The guy looks at Yoda, kill you, I will. Shit, fucking. And then just runs away.
That scene was beautiful, where he mind controls the captain, and just Padme just looks at him like, all right, Yoda, I get it. Like, you don't have to mind control my cat. I was on your side from the very beginning.
I liked when C-3PO became a flasher. That was fun.
Oh, dear God.
Just
that was...
look at my body. It looks good. Yeah.
Because that was one of those scenes, they were like, oh, there's so many things we get to reveal. It's like one of the things they got to reveal was, all right, 3PO has gold plating now. And Anakin's like, God damn, I built that droid. And now he's in gold plating. I mean, I know I'm a Jedi and I shouldn't be, impressed by that shit, but damn!
I know that. I love that you gave him the voice where, like he's talking normally, oh yes, no, I've been in this city for a while. The second he sees his droid, well, golly gee, look at my old droid. Hot damn. I built that droid when I was just a youngling.
He looks at...
Gave him,
I mean, that scene was great, too, because Anakin and Padme, that was another thing that I thought they did very well, was that Anakin and Padme, the whole meeting in secret, and it, I don't know, it didn't feel, weird or anything. It didn't feel like it was overdone or, that it's why are you two so happy? It's like we don't see enough of you two to understand why you're happy. It's like, no, they're just meeting secretly kind of thing, and it's that one rush of I get to see you again, and then fucking 3PO comes along like, oh, Mistress Padme, where are you? Anakin's like, he just turns the corner, he's like, oh no, 3PO.
My God, been doing this to me since I've been with girls since I've been fucking 15. What?
3PO. What the hell? I did not program you to be a fucking cockblock. Why do you keep doing this to me?
Actually, you did, sir.
Actually, you did.
I did.
Oh, well, shit. He's just like, oh, well, all right, good job. You're doing great. A little too good, actually. I should probably probably fix that.
Yeah. What I think would be the best thing is you just hear fucking R2 beep beep beep. He's like, actually, my mother was a lovely woman. By the way, I just want to mention, I love how they sat there and they're like, hey, how can we make the character that was played by Samuel L. Jackson, how can we make him more badass without actually using Samuel L. Jackson? He's gonna punch robots with his big fucking fists. And I'm like, good God. Good fucking God. How did you do that?
Honestly, I feel like they took a little bit out of Expanded because, I mean, Jedi train in hand-to-hand combat. You never really get to see that because you always see the lightsaber training. But there are plenty of Jedi that know hand-to-hand combat. It's just when lasers are being fired at you, it really doesn't help to be able to punch things at a range.
So I have a question for you. And I'm sure a lot of people know this, so, I apologize. But again, there might be many listening that don't. When did the expanded universe start? Because my first thought was,
Ooh.
well, maybe the expanded universe took it from this. But also, of course, it's just like, well, I'm sure this inspired some things in the expanded universe. At the same time, you know, Star Wars has been around since the fucking 70s. So when did the expanded universe start in the form of, like, novels? I know they've had novelizations of the movies, but I'm referring to, like, expanded universe.
I will actually look that up right now because now I'm curious
Thank
as
you.
well, and I don't actually
Thank
know.
You. Offhand, at least. I'm pretty sure you've said it to me before, but not, like, offhand. The reason why I ask is because, like, I'm curious as well when it just started from, like, you know, like, oh, we had novelization to, remember that one fucking dude that was next to Boba Fett? Oh, his whole family fucking died. It was real sad. Not Boba Fett. Well, yeah, technically Boba Fett. I was referring to Jabba, but I mean Boba Fett and Jabba were in the same room a bunch of times. So, but yeah, no, it's like that one dude next to Boba Fett and Jabba. Fucking sad history, that dude.
I mean,
anyway,
there are plenty of other like bounty hunters that got a little bit of more screen time, or people delved into their backstories and stuff like that.
Yes, but yeah. So I have a question for you then. So okay, I know I asked this of you. Or of you? I don't know if of you. But I asked it, you know, I said it to you before we began the show. And we're talking about the fact that because this actually came between episodes 2 and 3, it seems like they were prepping, like, everyone to expect some stuff in episode 3. Because in my opinion, right, maybe I need to rewatch episode 2 yet again, even though I really, really fucking don't want to. But I don't remember the Chancellor. I don't remember him being that much of a dickweed. Like, I remember us going, yeah, no, he's evil, because we knew it was coming. Right? But in episode 2, they're focusing so much on Dooku that, like, I don't remember them focusing on the Chancellor that much. But then episode 3 comes around, and you know, of course, you're like, yeah, this motherfucker's playing evil.
Right.
So in this one, I feel like they were prepping it with, I mean, him just basically being straight up evil.
Well, I think you don't actually see that until the second volume, which is supposed to be mirroring the beginnings of 3, because you see you see Anakin's costume change, where he becomes less of the Padawan and more of the knight that he turns into.
Right.
Obi-Wan also gets his, you know, costume change, where he's a master now. Well, technically he was a master earlier, but he takes the role of master a little bit more than knight himself.
And also, you mentioned, yes, you did mention, the third season was around 2005, so they were around the time episode 3 was being released.
Yes. Here we go.
Okay.
The expanded universe is generally considered to have begun in February of 1978.
Dear fucking God. So then, obviously, you know, if they mention hand-to-hand in 1984 or something like that, you know, like you said, people working on this had the ability to be huge fucking Star Wars nerds and read all of these, you know, these novels about the expanded universe and then incorporate it into this.
I mean, it might not even be specifically expanded universe talking about it, just more of like something that's not mentioned in the movies, but like if you watch, you know, documentaries and special features and shit like that, it's something that maybe, you know, Lucas or a various amount of other people could have mentioned, like, yeah, this is a thing. It's like you think about, you know, training to fight, and of course you would train the body first before you learn to train with a weapon. That's I mean, maybe not for all styles, but that's usually just a general thing that I've found. So,
I mean, no, it's fine. And of course it's something that would work here very well because again, it's just like, oh yeah, because like, it's not like your lightsaber is attached to you or you can just make a lightsaber out of nothing.
Right.
You need a saber. If you don't have your saber, then you're dead. Good fucking job, Academy. Like, no, they teach you how to fight. It's just that stuff that you don't see often because, like you said, you know, when lasers are being thrown at you, you're probably just going to use your saber.
You usually don't default to, I'm going to punch it.
I'll punch a laser. Like, no, that's just going to fucking kill you. Now, my question to you is, I want to defer to the expert here, but so I hope you know this. I know I mentioned it as a joke earlier, but I was being serious. Do lightsabers fizzle in the rain? Or are they supposed to? They did here.
Yes. Honestly, anything that I've seen, because there's another example of this in the 2008 Clone Wars series where they are underwater. And they also did this in this series, too, where Kit Fisto ignites his lightsaber underwater, and the water is reacting around the blade.
Right.
And granted,
yes.
the only other thing that I've seen personally that I can recall right now that would make sense of that, like, oh, why does the blade fizzle with water, and is that a real thing? There was actually a special that looked into, like, the science of Star Wars. It was actually a really awesome special. And they were saying how it's not, like, everyone thinks of it as, just this luminous beam, like a lightsaber. It's, a light extending out, but light doesn't react, light doesn't do that. Light just keeps going on forever in, it's a ray. So they explained it as making it out of plasma, where you could actually contain a certain amount of plasma within a magnetic field from the handle of the saber, and yet, plasma would exude the, what's the word I'm thinking? What's the word I'm trying to think? Characteristic, there we go.
Okay.
That, it's superheated. It's kind of in between liquid and gas, I guess, would be the easiest way to put it. Because plasma is arguably a fourth state of atoms, basically. So that would be why it can cut through literally everything, but it's still got this kind of physical form to it kind of thing. So, in short, to answer your question, yes, I would say that a lightsaber would, evaporate water if it hit the blade. So I think, and even beyond all that, I think it's fucking cool that it does that anyway. So even if it's not supposed to do that, well, fuck you, I like it.
So what you're saying is that lightsabers are destroying the ocean by evaporating it, which in turn destroys the ozone layer. So really, they're the blame. The Jedis are to blame for all the bad things happening.
So
Thank you for that insight, Tristan.
You looked at Palpatine's propaganda against the Jedi, huh? The Jedi are destroying the ozone layer. It's like, you're literally killing millions of people each day. Silence!
Yeah,
you just electrocuted a man in front of us. I'll kill you all if you don't shut up. Help, Palpatine! But
yeah, no, I don't know where this is going. All I can say is that I'm happy you answered my lightsaber question. I want to say, like we said earlier, I really am a huge fan of the sound-alikes. I just want to really say that again because, other than a few parts where, like, I was like, okay, yeah, let me look this up. I don't think it's them. I sat there. I was like, you really sound like them.
Yeah.
Like, really, like that Anthony Daniels impersonator named Anthony Daniels really sounds like Anthony Daniels.
I know, right? It's almost like he was, dare I say it, Anthony Daniels.
Don't fucking patronize me, Tristan.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. You can fucking patronize me, Tristan.
You do it to me all the time.
You do it to no. You do it to me all the time. No, I was going to say but anyway. So yeah, anything you want to mention? We're not going to wrap things up just yet, but I definitely want to start to wind things down a little bit more because we've got a very crazy podcast, everybody. Yeah. So what would you like to say about this series? Like anything that stuck out to you? Anything that you really enjoyed, or anything you did enjoy?
Well, okay. Let me put it to you this way: I have at least 5 pages of notes that I've barely scratched maybe a page and a half. But yeah, I'll condense it for yours.
Okay. So I'm gonna say fuck, and then we'll just.
Okay. Yeah. I will point out 2 things. One, because I think it's rather funny, because we've done this with other series. There are actually a few animation errors here and there that I noticed. Maybe not a few, but one that sticks out to me. So it was in Volume 2 when the attack on Coruscant is happening, and you notice Mace Windu get into his Jedi Starfighter, and it has purple, coloring on it to signify Mace because he has a purple lightsaber, and it's like, okay. So he gets shot down at one point during the battle over Coruscant, and as his fighter is going down, he's getting out of it and going to jump off of it onto a droid fighter. You can notice that the coloration is actually yellow instead of purple. So I wonder if they just accidentally stuck in Anakin's starfighter in there just as a placeholder at some point and then forgot to redo it or what. But I thought that was kind of funny.
I think we need to burn Lucas at the stake for that. I think he's done a lot of other things, but I think that's just the one atrocity. He's not an animator, but he never will be. So I think we should take care of him. No, let's not.
Okay.
Fucking. Oh, I love that Qui-Gon came back in Volume 2. I was like, oh shit, hello. I was like, how are you doing? It was weird though, because when I heard his voice, what?
What do you mean he came back? Oh, you mean that vision that Anakin had?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
He still came back. The
character
was there.
Right. You're
it
right.
Wasn't very Neeson, but the character came back. The second he appeared, it was just like, seriously, Anakin, stop this fucking shit right now. Anakin, I swear to fucking God.
It's funny because they even have a bit of dialogue between Anakin and Obi-Wan in Volume 1. Or was it? Yes, Volume 1. Where Anakin's still at that. He's 19 at the Attack of the Clones. So, I mean, the way I like to look at things, think of it if you were a 19-year-old. You out of high school. Maybe you're getting your first job. Maybe you're going into college. Maybe you're seeing someone. That kind of thing. You're worried, you're trying to get your life together. This guy has the fate of an entire galaxy on the weight of on his shoulders. He's also, people keep calling him the chosen one. Like, you're chosen to do great things. You're going to save us all. You can't fuck up because if you're the chosen one, if you're not the chosen one and you're not here to save us, we're all going to die. And he's in love with this girl, but he has to hide it because, he's a Jedi, so that's a no-no, and she's a senator, and that's a big no-no. And
what if you were a Jedi senator?
And you basically go into battles almost daily that you have no idea whether you're going to come out of alive on the other side or not, or when they're even going to end.
Yeah.
I just like to keep all that in mind. I feel bad about Anakin's character because he needs to be a character that you love. And most of from the movies, we've even talked about this in our cast about the movies, you don't get that connection with his character.
Well, no, I thought the problem was they were trying that connection, but it's very hard to take it in when I'm sitting here like, you're fucking Darth Vader.
Right.
It's very hard to, although I will admit, yes, it's hard to do that because in the first movie he's a kid. In the second one, he starts doing some heinous shit, but then at the same time they're trying to be like, no, but love him. I mean, him and Padme, and you're like, no, this is fucking horrible. He killed all those people. And then in the third one, it's just like, oh, no, I love it. Third one, spoiler, just, not from me, from, them. While they're making the movie, by the way, everybody, Anakin's evil. We have to remember that.
Right.
No.
Luke's father, Anakin Skywalker, is that guy in the big dark tin suit.
Kind of a dick. Just remember that.
Right. And it's
hey, Hayden, your character's kind of a dick.
You need a series. That's why I love these, even though it was a mini-series, I felt like they did a better job of just giving you that time to kind of be see him doing good. And at his core, Anakin really was a good guy. He was trying to do the best he could. They even, when he was going through his training in the trials, they say his trials have never been orthodox. He's not an orthodox Jedi, but Obi-Wan really sticks up for him. He's like, no, he hasn't gone through the training and maybe not as much discipline as he should have had, but, let's trust in him. He is the chosen one. And through all the shit that I've seen through this war, he's handled it at least well enough to come out on top and try to do the best he can in helping the galaxy as well. And, my master saw it in him, and I see it in him as well. Because that was the original thing I wanted to bring up was Anakin says, he gets fed up with Obi-Wan at one point, and he says, as far as your wisdom goes, you're no Qui-Gon Jinn, and he immediately like, oh God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, and Obi-Wan just puts his hand on his shoulder, and he's like, it's okay, I miss him too, I know you didn't mean it, and I was like, oh.
And what I like is even those times that Anakin is primal, in my opinion, it's, he's fighting the bad guys, so it's okay.
Right.
At the end of Volume 2, it was a bit of an issue, but thankfully he followed suit. They didn't let his anger overtake him and kill all those creatures that were actually being mind controlled. So I'm happy about it. But I was weird though that they focused on him eating bugs though. Like I don't know if they're trying to do it for the growth factor. Just have kids be like ew or laugh. But it's very interesting that they. I got to be honest though, man. I don't know if it's just racism or Lucas just for in Temple of Doom or Lucas just likes people eating bugs. Like I really don't fucking know what it is anymore, man. Because we thought it was racism.
That's funny.
In Temple of Doom.
Even said, he even said he stole it from the enemy camp. It's like, where did you get that, by the way? Oh, the enemy camp. You've been to the enemy camp? Yeah, and I stole this map too.
Yeah, that was funny.
What?
That's very much like him.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I went underground here, and it's just like, God damn it.
It's like, so we're going to go through the sewer, blow up the generator, and take the city back, right? Yeah, let's go. Obi-Wan's just like, all right.
Yeah.
And they even got that chemistry that they have in Episode 3, like they're supposed to have. And Obi-Wan even says it like, it's time for us to, let go of the roles of master and apprentice. It's time that we became brothers. And that's so, that's so important because they really are. They're equals in Episode 3, you know?
Yes, and I'm okay. The thing is, I'm cool with Anakin not being the most mature, but I really think in Episode 2, he was, they just asked, or they tried to write him as such a dickwad.
I know.
So bad that it was just you're not, and that's, of course, another part where you were just we couldn't love him. Even though it was his teenage years, still, we couldn't appreciate him.
Yeah.
So, but you're still supposed to like him by the no, I just don't like him at all at any point.
Right.
1, 2, or 3. But anyway.
Yeah.
What I do want to say though, so I do like that in this one they still had a fun camaraderie. It was a camaraderie. It was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah. One thing I want to say as well that I enjoyed was that I enjoyed that they had a lot of funny moments, but they were subtle. Where it's just little moments where it's just you have Obi-Wan sleeping in the barracks that's clearly there's a leak coming in.
Yeah,
and then it's just I'll move to the other side. The leak coming from the other side as well. God damn it.
And he just lays there with his eyes open for a few seconds before, Anakin walks in
even that, no, the other guy first. Remember the other guy?
Commander Cody.
I loved it. Just, by the way, we'll be here for another 3 months. We've already been here for a month already. Yep. We're right on schedule.
We're right on schedule.
I fucking hate you so much. But I'm happy to hear about the wife and kids because I read the expanded universe. Lovely wife and kids.
Oh, God.
His grandmother was the best. Well, was. I really don't know. But
what was it? One of the other funny things that I noticed, I guess it would have been hard to animate or they just didn't think to do it. Before Obi-Wan started fighting the bounty hunter, Dirge, they break into a building and there are droideka, yeah. What is the other name? Whatever. The droids that roll up and project a shield around them. Oh, destroyer droids. There we go.
Okay.
They're supposed to have shields. And, that's the whole thing about them, why they're such a pain in the ass when they show up, because even a lightsaber can't penetrate the ray shield around them. But in this, they didn't put up any shields, and Obi-Wan just cut right through them. And I'm like, kind of missing the point of the droid, but okay.
That's why I didn't like the series. They didn't have the shield. That's why.
God damn it.
I had known that from the beginning, but I wanted you to bring it up first. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Grievous is amazing. I'm gonna
Yes.
put that out there.
That's another thing. Another character
you.
that everyone really hated in the movie because it was such a letdown. In this, you get to see him as a complete and utter badass.
In
like,
both versions of Clone Wars.
Yes. Well, it's funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you mentioned he was in other Clone Wars as well.
Well, yeah. No. He is. He is in the 2008 Clone Wars too. And not to say that he isn't a good warrior, but
and
they
he's
kind of
also
play it up.
in Rebels, or is he not?
No.
Is it a spoiler
dude,
if you tell me? Oh, well.
Spoiler: General Grievous dies in Episode 3. You know
Fuck
this.
you. I don't know.
Everyone knows this.
Though. I just don't know when Rebels two things. First off, two things. One, I don't know when Rebels takes place, and two, Grievous and Darth Maul and Elvis are chilling somewhere. So go fuck yourself.
Oh God. Well, okay.
None of them are dead.
Rebels should kind of tell you when that takes place. Okay. At least it takes place around the original trilogy.
Fair point.
It's technically supposed to be 5 years before the original trilogy, I believe.
Oh, okay. Fair point.
So 5 years before Episode 4.
Okay. Yeah. So like 1960.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
1966.
All right,
right,
you smart ass. All right.
Fuck you too.
The other thing that I love with Grievous is that they explain that he's supposed to be the hidden general. Like, whenever he goes after Jedi, it's like, you eliminate everyone. Every Jedi, every clone trooper, hell, even some droids if you fucking have to. It's like, no one can know that you are a thing, that we have you in our arsenal, because you are supposed to be the assassin Jedi killer. And when he goes in that first time, like, that was a season finale for Volume 1, was, Grievous. And it was like, that gave me chills. Like, there are 3 things that I remember from this series as a child. Anakin's duel with Ventress and killing her, because holy crap.
Thank you for mentioning the name. I've just been calling her not Darth Vader girl.
Right.
Or not Darth Vader Sith, I'm sorry.
The end of the second volume where Anakin's, helping free those I forget the name that they used, but the warriors on that planet, and basically having the visions of the future and seeing all of them. And then in this, the season finale for Volume 1, Grievous's fight with 4 masters. At least 3 that I know are definitely masters. One of them might have just been a knight, and 2 others were Padawan. So that's 6 Jedi. And he takes on all of them and basically kills all of them. Because if the clone troopers hadn't come in and saved Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shaak-Ti, and Aayla Secura when they did, they all would have been dead. And it's like, whoa, Grievous can stand up against 3 Jedi Masters, at least, and not break a sweat. Not that he can sweat at this point, because he's mostly machine, but holy shit.
Boop, boop. Yeah. So sadly we're going to have to end things here, but I want to thank you all for listening in. And I also want to thank Tristan for what he's about to say.
Okay. The last thing I wanted to mention about Grievous, I love the fact that at the very end, before they go into the third movie, you see Mace actually crush his chest with the Force before he kidnaps Palpatine, and that's where he develops the cough. I thought that was beautiful. Like, that really gives you the sense of why he's not as good as everyone wanted him to be. It's like, because he got his internal organs crushed before the final battle.
Right. So then, and that took place around the same time the movie came out. Yes.
The last episode of Volume 2 directly leads into the start of Episode 3.
Yes. No, what I'm talking about, yes, I know that. Although it's weird, though, because they did some scenes that I could swear were in Episode 3. Like,
maybe
I could swear that, I mean, the way that
mirrored it,
Anakin and
maybe.
Obi-Wan were talking, the fact that they had the council meeting about Anakin, and at the end, or even not at the end, just the general talk of, like, we can never be together, they can't know about us, but I want them to. I don't want to be hiding with you. Like, that same conversation was in the beginning of episode 3.
Yes. That kind of idea was mirrored from, which eventually came out into episode 3.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, you're not wrong in a sense. They did have that
kind of
conversation.
Yes. Okay. So, anyway, I would like to thank you all for listening, as always. Another Star Wars Wednesday podcast. I don't know when the next one will be, sadly, because there's a chance that Tristan won't be in New York for about a month and a half, but it's okay because I'm not in any way upset by that.
Okay. I mean, it's for my career, so you know what?
This is your career now. We're your family now.
You're just like, yeah, and this is for my career, so fuck you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're ruining everything. So
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
no, all jokes aside, you're the one that's not doing Clone Wars. So
shut up.
you could
on the eve of not the eve, but Rebels Season 2 has been released on DVD. Technically yesterday at this point, but
it's like, hey, guess what?
You're even further behind now.
You could still do. I'm saying you can still do 2008 Clone Wars from what is it, Colorado?
Yeah.
You can still do it from Colorado.
From my tent, sure.
From your tent?
Out in the desert. Out in the desert.
I didn't realize you'd be that far. I'm sorry, you're in Colorado. You're not going back to Africa.
I mean, same kind of environment, technically.
Interesting. I'll take technically as you saying technically, but I'm not getting into the logistics right now. Please don't crucify me, everyone. That's what I'll say.
Let's go with that.
But anyway, all right. So anyway, again, thank you all. We're going to end things here. Before we do, I want to mention that we have our merchandise on thoseguysintheradio.tumblr.com/merchandise. We have our Facebook page, which is /thoseguysintheradio, our Twitter, which is @thoseguysintheradio, and our Instagram, which is /thoseguysintheradio. And you can hear our podcasts on our iTunes account, which you can search up Those Guys to follow us there and get new episodes through our iTunes Those Guys account. Or you can find us on YouTube and find our old podcasts, our old archived shows on our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel. Just search up Those Guys on the Radio on YouTube. Or you can find our Let's Plays that Tristan and I and many of our fellow podcasters have done. Those Guys Play on YouTube. Also, our merchandise mentioned earlier is for both Those Guys on the Radio and Those Guys Play. Different variants based on different games that we have played. And we've played a bunch of different games. Heck, you and I have played Star Wars Battlefront, which was a heck of a lot of fun. So anyway, yeah, it was. But right, we have our Let's Plays, which, we have Season 2 coming out at some point in September. But we do have an Animal Crossing event going on. I believe while this is out, right on the day that this comes out, you will have already heard, I hope, about us doing our Animal Crossing 5-day event that will end on Labor Day, where Anthony Toto and I do not a live show, but I believe we will be live streaming it. But we're doing a show on Labor Day. So a lot of fun because, of course, Animal Crossing, as you know, Tristan, and people know, have different events based on different days. So, it'll be a lot of fun. And not episode 1 of Animal Crossing, that because we played a different, myself and Anthony Toto have played a lot of different Animal Crossing episodes already. But another episode 2, I believe, has already started, and we'll be releasing one new one each day. So a lot of fun. And, of course, there's also Matt Beat Games from his childhood, where I, being Matt, beat games from my childhood, currently beating Mega Man X. And there's some more that are on the pipeline, more along the way. And, so that's fun. Oh, we also have our TG Productions YouTube channel. That's the one that I was stalling to get to, where we have TG News, which is a nerd news show with a fun twist, and we have Motivational Movies, a series that shows Shia LaBeouf clips from his Just Do It rant put to different public domain films like Night of the Living Dead or Sherlock Holmes. So those are our YouTube accounts. We do have our Patreon, which is called TG Productions. You can donate there any amount. You can donate anything that would help us, literally anything. But depending on how much you donate, right, you could either become you could either tell us what show to do, right? So you can tell us what podcast to do. Like, go podcast on this or this or this. Or you can tell us, hey, we'd like you to play this specific video game. Or, right, you can become a sponsor on the show. So we'll actually give you a shout-out depending on what you actually, would like to get shouted out on, if you will. What would you like to be a sponsor on? So you can be, you can sponsor our podcasts for a specific amount of podcasts for a month. You can sponsor our Let's Plays, or we can do the same for you on our TG News show, right? So there's that. And then the most important thing, I would say the most important thing on our Patreon is the manga that we're bringing over from Japan called Give My Regards to Blackjack, right? With the manga, any questions you want to ask about that, you can check on our FAQ, which is on our Patreon page, or just email us at thoseguysintheradio@gmail.com, right? And depending on what tier you donate to, you can either get yourself a copy of the manga volumes 1 and 2, either physical or digital. You can get yourself a T-shirt or a poster from the manga, and a lot of other, interesting stuff that, like I said, is on our Patreon. And, yeah, so I think we're done here. Are you still with me, Tristan? Oh, thank God.
Yes.
I was like, Tristan died. It was too long, and Tristan died.
Just sitting here waiting for episode 8. Photoshop in a skeleton. Ha 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 ha. I'm funny, Matt.
You're so funny. All right, then. So, no, you're so funny. We all love you.
Okay.
All right, then. So, thank you all for listening in, as always, and say good night, Tristan.
Good night, everybody, and may the Force be with you.
And also with you.